My name is Keith Swank, and I am the Pierce County Sheriff. I'm the elected sheriff. It's my honor to be here working with Compassion Washington. And we've done some other things together before. Right after I became sheriff, Christine got a hold of me to tell me who she was and what she was working on. And excuse me. And she had heard me speaking about what I wanted to do when I became sheriff with human trafficking. So I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, and then you can hear where I come from and where we're going, okay? In 1990, I was hired as a Seattle police officer, and I spent 33 years there before I retired. But in 1990, right after I graduated the academy, was the final body of the Green River Killer was found, I think in September of 1990. I don't think it was really the final one, but it was the final one they found at the time that they attributed to the Green River Killer. I lived in SeaTac, and Pacific Avenue was there. They call it International Boulevard now, but it was a seedy place, and it was all full of prostitution and all kinds of things. But I worked in Seattle around Chinatown. The same thing was going on there. Prostitution everywhere, Aurora Avenue, prostitution everywhere. And I had a partner. We worked a two-man car. We worked right around the Chinatown area there, and we got to meet prostitutes. And we befriended them because we wanted to get them out of that life. Many of them were young, 18 or younger. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't take them away. We could only speak with them and encourage them to maybe let us help them and do something positive for them. And but the other thing we did was we kept our eye out for their pimps, because I don't know if I called it that back then, like human trafficking or whatever, but we called them pimps, right? There were people who controlled these young women and made them do these sex acts with strangers and all of that. And so our big thing was we would befriend them, and if we had the opportunity to arrest a pimp, then we would do that. And we would put the pimps in prison for as long as we could, especially ones that transported juveniles across state lines. We could get a hold of the federal government. They could give us a hand, and we could put them away for a long time, and we could save lives then, because the girls would not speak to us if the pimp was still around, because what's going to happen to them? They're going to be harmed, right? So I was involved in that and helping out with that at a very young age when I first became a police officer, and I think we saved a lot of lives. My partner and I, and other people too. That's what we worked on that a lot over there. There's probably some people that we didn't save, but we tried really hard. It's really difficult you can't really make people do stuff. You have to try to develop that relationship with them and encourage them to do the right thing, right? And then say, hey, no matter what, just call me anytime or whatever, call 911, we'll come over and give you a hand, and we have to be prepared at that moment in time when they say, I want help, we have to have some place we can bring them to right then. We can't wait until tomorrow, because tomorrow they won't be there then, right? We have to go take them and help them right then. So we were doing all this good work, saving people, I believe, and then in the wisdom of, and I'm using that term facetiously, the Seattle Council, they passed legislation to make prostitution legal, because they didn't want to hold anybody accountable, because it was, they would say that it was racist, it was sexist, it was this, it was that, but see, we weren't arresting young women who were prostitutes to put them in jail. We were doing things that we could do with this law to help them, right? Hey, we know you're out prostitution loitering, I see what you're doing, but here's what I'm going to do. If you go with me today to this group that will help you, and then we could get them into somebody's hands, right? And then we could still go after the pimps then and put them in jail. But Seattle politicians made it very difficult for us to do that. And we worked on that for a long time, trying to tell them, no, we have to have these laws here, so, the carrot stick method, we have to have these laws here so we can hold people accountable, but we know that we're not trying to put them in jail. We don't even want to fine them. We just want to be able to use that as an opportunity to be able to speak to somebody. Because when you're a cop, you can't just walk up to somebody and say, I'm going to talk to you. You have to have a reason to be able to do that. There's constitutional rights out there, right? So we would do that. We worked really hard on that. I worked there at Seattle for 33 years. At one point, I was the captain in charge of the vice unit. So vice is prostitution and gambling and things like that. And we did really good work there. We targeted pimps. That's what we did. We went after the pimps and we went after the Johns. We would target them also because I know that there were other Green River killers driving around out there. And if we were out there and we could intervene and maybe save somebody's life, I mean, there's so many unsolved homicides in this state that we don't know. There's missing people all over the place, you know, and it's possibly from serial killers. So we're doing the best we can with all we could all the time to get the people out there. And you know, I wasn't above scaring them straight. Like, you know, I saw you get in the car with that guy right there, and I think he's a murderer. What are you doing? Don't get in the car, you know, and things like that. We were befriending people, just talking to them to try to help save their lives, because a lot of times people who are prostitutes like that and running on the street, they have drug addictions too, right? So you're trying to just trying to save their lives, right? Do what you can, because it's somebody's daughter. You know, you look at them and you go like, my gosh, that could be my daughter, that could be my sister, you know, it's just very devastating. So we worked really hard on that. And during my time there, we did a really good job. We saved people's lives. I mean, there's much more to do. We haven't saved everybody's life. We're never going to get that far along. That's our goal, though. Well, one of the things we got going in Seattle is the Internet Crimes Against Children. And people who victimize children, they victimize everybody. And if you victimize children, you're the lowest of the low. And so we went after people and targeted them there. Seattle Police Department was the clearinghouse for all Internet crimes against children throughout the state of Washington. When any of these hits came in federally or nationally, we would send it out to the jurisdiction, give them a hand. It could be someplace in Ritzville. We'd give them a hand over there in Ritzville to help them with their cases and things like that. And so we saved a lot of people's lives there. You know, there's no end to it. It's terrible. I'm going to tell you a little bit more here about my time here as sheriff. So we got that going. You know, when I ran for sheriff, I spoke about human trafficking, and that's how you got a hold of me. And we talked about what we wanted to do. And I found out that Pierce County Sheriff's Office had Internet Crimes Against Children unit, but then they got rid of it, and it was gone for 4 years before I got there. So I said, well, when I got there, we have to make this a priority. Even though our staffing's short, we have to make this a priority. And I talked with the people, my chain of command, and I said, hey, this is what we're going to do. And I happened to know the commander of the ICAC unit from Seattle, so I called him up and said, hey, man, this is what we want to do. Let's get going. And in no time at all, we got it up and running. And we have lots of good technology now. We spent money on that so we could find these people because they're really smart, right? They knew how to use technology to hide things, but they're predators. And so we got it going. And since I think we've had it up and running. I've been the sheriff now for less than a year and a half, 17 months. I think we've had ICAC running for 15 months. That's like the fastest we've got anything going like that. And we have arrested scores of people. Yes, we absolutely. You know, the thing about predators and people who traffic people or go out and, you know, they try to pick up prostitutes and all of that. People say, oh, when they find out about this Internet Crimes Against Children, they say, oh, John, he's my neighbor. He's such a nice guy. He's just a normal guy. And all of this stuff. And you find out that all these normal people who aren't normal, they put on this facade out here in life, right? Oh, he's a teacher, he's a this. We just arrested a cop recently, you might have seen that in the news. That was a child predator. Well, alleged. He hasn't been convicted yet. Okay, he is a child predator, okay? So we just did that. We did teachers. We intercepted a couple out in Roy who wanted to kidnap children, keep them in a cage, molest them, rape them, and kill them and bury them in their yard, in their 3 acres of land that they had. They had it all planned out. And we saved their lives, children's lives, right? And I'm not saying this to make you all sad. I'm just telling you this to let you know what's going on and what we're doing and how we're working. And all of you are helping us, because when you're rolling around out in the community and you see something suspicious, I sure hope you're calling 911 and letting us know about it so we can go and investigate that. So we're working really hard on that. The unit is not as big as I want it to be, but I have to handle 911 calls too, but I have it up and running, and we're going to expand it as our staffing gets bigger and better. And we're going to go out there, and I tell people, and I don't hide it, I say, we're coming after you, we're going to arrest you, I'm giving you fair warning. We're looking for you, and if somebody gets scared straight, I'm okay with that. So we're coming after them. Last thing I'd like to talk to you about is this World Cup. I'm not a soccer guy. I like real football. But I will tell you that I do know that soccer is very important worldwide and how important it is. And I know that people will be coming to our areas here, and human nature is there'll be people who are coming here who are predators. And I know that, you know that, we all know that, we're talking about it. We're working with other agencies around the areas here. We'll be working together. I'm not telling you everything we're doing, but because I want to keep it quiet. I don't want the bad guys to know about it. We're working together. We'll be out around these fan zones. We'll be people with plain clothes on. We'll be looking for people going on out there, see what's going on and what we can do. We'll be monitoring internet traffic legally, of course, you know, the way that stuff happens. We'll be looking for that. We'll be setting up things to make sure that if there's people that are predators out there, that we find them and arrest them and bring them to justice. One of the good things is, and you might not like it, but I like it, the hotel reservations are down. I know that might be bad for business, but it's good for safety for me. It might not, if you're business owners here, you rely on that, I'm sorry for me saying that, but hotels are down. I had a briefing at the Washington Association of Police Chiefs just 2 weeks ago when I was in Spokane for that. Hotel reservations in Seattle are down. They're down below what they normally are. I don't know what that means if people are going to come, but what they're saying is it might just be local people coming. Well, the local people, that's good. They can come down there and see these events and everything, but we'll be out there. We're planning on, they say 750,000 to 1 million people coming. We're planning on that. We'll be working these fan zones and keeping an eye on things, and hopefully you all will be helping us out there too. So it's my honor to be here, work together, everybody, and I really appreciate you all for being here and being a part of this too. Thank you very much.